The Purchase. In a far-off galaxy, a bustling alien marketplace thrived on a dusty planet named Varnus. Brightly colored stalls lined the streets, filled with strange foods, unusual gadgets, and exotic creatures. The air buzzed with voices, laughter, and the distant sounds of music. Among the crowd, a human soldier named Captain Alex wandered, his sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. He was on a mission to gather intelligence for Earth, but something about this market drew him in. As Alex moved through the stalls, he noticed a commotion near a booth at the edge of the market. Curious, he pushed through the crowd and saw something that made his heart race. Two girls were trapped in a cage, their eyes filled with fear and despair. They were not just any girls. They were slaves, captured and sold to the highest bidder. One girl had dark hair and striking green eyes, while the other had curly brown locks and warm brown eyes. Their names were Zara and Leela. "Look at them! What a catch!" a tall alien shouted, waving his hands to attract buyers. "Strong and healthy. They'll make excellent servants." Alex felt anger rise within him. He had fought against slavery his whole life. The sight of the girls made his blood boil. He couldn't just stand by and let them be sold like animals. He approached the booth, his mind racing. "How much for both of them?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. The alien seller smirked, eyeing Alex's military uniform. "For you, human, they are worth 10,000 credits." Alex's heart sank. 10,000 credits was a fortune. He had saved some money from his last mission, but it was nowhere near that amount. Still, he couldn't walk away. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the girl's despair. "I'll buy them," he said, determination in his voice. The alien laughed, thinking Alex was joking. "You think you can afford them. You humans are all the same, full of bravado but empty pockets." Alex's jaw clenched. He needed to think fast. "What if I make you a deal?" He glanced around, ensuring no one was watching. "I can help you smuggle goods past the border patrol. You'll make a fortune." The seller's eyes narrowed, intrigued. "Smuggling, you say? What's in it for you?" "Just the girls," Alex replied firmly. "I'll help you, and you let them go." After a moment of silence, the alien considered the offer. Finally, he nodded, a greedy grin spreading across his face. "Fine. You can have them for your help. But if you betray me, I will hunt you down." With that, Alex handed over the credits he had, a significant amount of his savings, and the deal was done. The seller opened the cage, and Zara and Leela stumbled out, confusion and fear in their eyes. They looked at Alex, who smiled gently. "You're free now. I'll protect you." Zara stepped forward, her green eyes filled with uncertainty. "Why did you do this? We don't even know you." Alex felt a pang in his heart. "I couldn't let you suffer. You deserve freedom and a chance to live your own lives." Leela, still trembling, whispered, "What will happen now?" "We'll find a safe place," Alex assured them. "You're safe with me." He glanced back at the alien seller, who was watching them closely, a menacing smile on his face. The escape had just begun, and Alex knew he would do whatever it took to keep Zara and Leela safe from the darkness that sought to consume them. The escape. The three of them hurried away from the marketplace, the sounds of laughter and music fading behind them. Captain Alex led Zara and Leela through narrow alleyways, trying to find a safe place to hide. The girls walked closely beside him, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. They had just tasted freedom, but danger still lurked in the shadows. "Where are we going?" Zara asked, her voice shaking slightly. She was still trying to process what had just happened. "Somewhere safe," Alex replied, glancing around. "I know a place not far from here. We just need to keep moving." As they turned a corner, Alex spotted a small, dimly lit building. It looked abandoned, with broken windows and a crumbling sign above the door. "In there," he said, pointing. They rushed inside, and Alex quickly shut the door behind them. The inside was dark and musty, filled with dust and cobwebs. Once they were inside, Alex took a moment to catch his breath. He could hear the girls' heavy breathing as they tried to calm down. "We need to stay quiet for a while," he said. "I'm sure the seller will be looking for us." Zara nodded, still wide-eyed. "I can't believe you bought us. Why did you do it?" Alex shrugged. "I couldn't just let you be sold like that. Everyone deserves to be free." Leela, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "But you don't even know us. We could be trouble." Alex smiled softly. "You're not trouble. You're just girls who deserve a chance. We'll figure it out together." They sat in the dark room, the silence heavy around them. After a few minutes, Alex noticed something moving outside the window. His heart raced as he peered through the cracked glass. A group of alien guards was searching the area, calling out for the girls. "Stay quiet," Alex whispered urgently. He crouched low, motioning for the girls to do the same. They huddled together, their eyes wide with fear. The guards moved closer, their voices loud and demanding. "They can't have gone far. Check every corner." One of them shouted, his sharp eyes scanning the street. "Alex, what do we do?" Zara asked, her voice barely a whisper. "We wait," he said, trying to sound calm. "We'll wait until they leave." Minutes felt like hours as the guards searched the area. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He couldn't let them find Zara and Leela. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the guards moved on, their voices fading into the distance. "Now," Alex said, standing up, "we need to go. This way." He led the girls out of the back door, into a narrow alley that ran behind the building. They kept low and moved quickly, trying to avoid any open spaces where they might be seen. As they hurried down the alley, Alex could hear the sound of footsteps behind them. His heart sank. "We have to move faster," he urged, picking up the pace. Zara and Leela followed, their breath coming in quick gasps. They ran through a maze of alleyways, turning left and right, trying to shake off their pursuers. Just when Alex thought they were in the clear, they reached a dead end. A tall wall loomed in front of them, blocking their path. "Now what?" Leela cried, panic rising in her voice. "Climb," Alex shouted. He helped Zara up first, urging her to grab onto the rough edges of the wall. Leela followed closely behind, and Alex boosted himself up after them. Just as they reached the top, Alex heard shouting from the alley below. The guards had found their trail. "Hurry," he urged, pulling the girls up. They scrambled over the wall and dropped down on the other side, landing in a heap on the ground. "Keep running," Alex commanded, glancing back as the guards reached the wall. They could hear the guards yelling angrily, closing in fast. The girls didn't need to be told twice. They took off again, adrenaline pushing them forward. Freedom was just within their reach, but they weren't safe yet. Alex knew they had to find a way to escape this dangerous world before it consumed them. Adjusting to freedom. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the small shelter where Captain Alex, Zora, and Leela had finally found refuge. After running for what felt like hours, they had stumbled upon an abandoned building on the outskirts of a quiet town. The walls were cracked and the windows were dusty, but it was safe for now. As they sat on the floor, catching their breath, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of relief wash over him. "Are we really safe here?" Zara asked, her green eyes wide with uncertainty. She was still processing the fact that they were free from their cages, yet danger still felt close. "For now," Alex replied, scanning the room. "But we need to stay alert. We can't let our guard down." Leela, still trembling from their escape, glanced around the dimly lit room. "What do we do now? We don't have anywhere to go." Alex took a deep breath. "First, we need to rest. Then we'll think of a plan. You both deserve a chance to start fresh." As night fell, the trio settled down in the corner of the room. They shared some water and the few snacks Alex had managed to grab from the marketplace. It was simple food, but to Zara and Leela, it felt like a feast after the harsh conditions they had endured. "Why did you really buy us?" Leela asked suddenly, looking at Alex with curiosity. "You barely know us." Alex paused, searching for the right words. "I couldn't just stand by and watch you be sold. I've seen too much suffering in this galaxy. Everyone deserves a chance at freedom, no matter who they are." Zara leaned closer, her voice soft. "You're different from the others, aren't you? Most people don't care." Alex smiled faintly. "Maybe. I've fought for humanity and our rights. I believe in helping others, even if it puts me in danger." As they talked, the girls began to relax. They shared stories of their pasts, the pain of their captivity, and the dreams they once had. Zara spoke of her family, how she had been captured while trying to escape her home planet. Layla shared her hopes of becoming a healer, helping those in need. Alex listened, his heart aching for their lost dreams, but also feeling a sense of hope for their future. As the night deepened, the girls fell asleep, their bodies finally giving in to exhaustion. Alex stayed awake, keeping watch. He thought about the journey ahead. They were free, but freedom came with its own challenges. He needed to find a way to keep them safe and help them start anew. The next morning, the sun streamed through the cracked windows, waking Zara and Leela. They stretched, blinking in the bright light. "What's the plan now?" Zara asked, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and fear. "We need supplies," Alex replied. "Food, water, and some clothes. We can't stay here forever. Once we're ready, we'll figure out where to go next." Leela nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "I can help. I know some places nearby where we might find food." "Good thinking," Alex said. "But we must be careful. Let's stick together and not attract attention." They left the shelter, stepping out into the bright day. The world felt different now, freer, yet still dangerous. As they walked through the quiet streets, Alex kept an eye out for any signs of trouble. They passed by shops and homes, the sights unfamiliar yet fascinating. Leela led them to a small market, where they could find food without raising suspicion. The smell of fresh bread filled the air, making their stomachs growl. They quietly grabbed some items, careful not to draw any attention. It felt strange, almost exhilarating, to be doing something so simple yet so vital. Once they had enough supplies, they made their way back to their shelter. As they settled down to eat, laughter filled the air for the first time since their escape. In that moment, they felt the spark of hope and a sense of belonging. "Thank you for believing in us," Zara said, looking at Alex with gratitude. Alex smiled back, realizing that he had found more than just allies in these girls. He had found a new family. They had all suffered, but together they could start to heal and build a new life. Freedom was just the beginning of their journey, and they were ready to face whatever came next. Growing connections. Days turned into weeks as Captain Alex, Zara, and Leela settled into their new life. The abandoned building had become their home. They worked together to gather food and supplies, building a routine that slowly gave them a sense of normalcy. Yet the weight of their past still lingered, and they needed to confront it to truly move forward. One afternoon, as the sun cast a warm glow through the dusty windows, Zara and Leela sat on the floor, cleaning the few items they had managed to collect. Alex was outside, keeping watch. Lila looked up at Zara, her brown eyes filled with concern. "Do you think we'll ever be truly free?" Zara sighed, glancing at the floor. "I hope so. But sometimes I feel like our past will always haunt us." Leela nodded, biting her lip. "We should talk about it. Maybe it will help." Zara hesitated, but she knew Leela was right. "Okay, let's share our stories." With that, Zara began to recount her past. "I was captured during a raid on my home planet. I was just a teenager, dreaming of adventure and exploring the stars. Instead, I found myself in chains. I thought I would never escape. Tears filled her eyes, and Leela reached out to squeeze her hand. I'm so sorry, Zora. You didn't deserve that. Thank you, Zara whispered, wiping her tears. I thought I would never feel safe again until Alex bought us. He gave us a chance. Leela took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. My story is similar. I was taken while I was helping my village. They wanted to use me for my skills as a healer. I was scared, but I knew I had to survive. When Alex came, I felt hope for the first time in years. Zara smiled softly. We're lucky to have him. He fights for us and cares about our freedom. At that moment, Alex walked in, sensing the heavy atmosphere. What's going on? He asked, concern written on his face. Zara and Leela exchanged glances, and Zara spoke up. We were just sharing our stories about how we ended up in that cage. Alex nodded, sitting down with them. It's important to talk about it. I know it's hard, but keeping it inside won't help. Leela looked at him, her eyes shining. Thank you for giving us a chance, Alex. You saved us when no one else would. Alex felt a warmth spread through him. You don't have to thank me. I couldn't just let you suffer. We're in this together now. As the days passed, their bond deepened. They began to share more than just their past. They shared laughter, hopes, and dreams. Zara discovered a love for cooking, and she often surprised Alex and Leela with delicious meals made from the ingredients they had gathered. Leela, on the other hand, practiced her healing skills, tending to any injuries Alex or Zara might have from their daily tasks. One evening, while they were sitting around a small fire they had built outside, Alex noticed how much Zara and Leela had changed. They were no longer the frightened girls he had rescued. They were becoming strong women with their own dreams. Zara, you should teach me to cook, Alex said, grinning. I need to learn to make more than just protein bars. Zara laughed, her eyes sparkling. Deal. But only if you promise to help with the cleaning afterward. I can do that, he replied, raising his hands in mock surrender. As laughter filled the air, Leela chimed in. And I can show you some healing techniques, Alex. You never know when you might need them. Alex smiled, feeling grateful for the connection they were building. In the midst of their struggles, they had found joy and support in each other. They were no longer just a soldier and two former slaves. They were a family. As the sun set, painting the sky with brilliant colors, Alex realized that this newfound bond was what made them truly free. They had each other, and together they could face any challenge that came their way. The darkness of their past was still there, but it no longer defined them. They were on a journey to rebuild their lives, and with each passing day, their connection grew stronger, lighting the way forward. Shadows of the past. The peaceful days in their new life were beginning to feel like a distant dream. One afternoon, Captain Alex, Zara, and Leela were working outside their shelter when a sudden noise broke the calm. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed through the alleyway, and Alex's heart sank. He immediately recognized the urgency in the air. Get inside, he shouted, pushing Zara and Leela toward the door. They hurried inside the building, fear gripping their hearts. Alex stood near the entrance, peering out through a crack in the door. He saw a group of alien guards approaching, their expressions hard and determined. They must be looking for us, Alex said, his voice tense. They can't find us here. Zora's face turned pale. What if they take us back? I can't go through that again. Leela trembled beside her, gripping Zora's arm. We have to do something. Alex took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. We'll wait until they pass. We're not going back to that life. As they crouched together in the dim light, shadows of their past began to creep into their minds. Zara's thoughts raced back to the moments before her capture, the fear she felt when the aliens invaded her home. Lila remembered the days in the slave market, the hopelessness that had filled her heart as she awaited her fate. They had come so far, but the trauma of their past still lingered. Suddenly, one of the guards shouted, "They can't have gone far. Search every building." The sound of heavy boots echoed closer, and Alex's heart raced. He glanced back at the girls, who were clutching each other, their eyes wide with fear. "We can't let them find us," he whispered. "If they do, we'll be lost." Zara nodded, trying to keep her voice steady. "What if they find us here?" "Then we'll run," Alex replied, determination in his voice. "But we need to stay quiet for now." The guards continued their search, moving from building to building, their voices growing louder. Zara closed her eyes, trying to block out the memories of her captivity. "I thought I was free," she murmured, "but it feels like it's all coming back." Leela looked at her friend, tears glistening in her eyes. "We are free. We just have to fight to keep it." Suddenly, the door creaked as one of the guards tried to push it open. Alex's heart raced. "Get back," he hissed. He quickly moved to block the entrance, ready to defend the girls. The guard peeked inside, and Alex could see the curiosity in his eyes. "This place is empty," the guard said, turning back to his team. "They must be nearby. Keep searching." Alex held his breath, knowing they had just narrowly escaped. When the guards moved on, he let out a sigh of relief. But the fear had taken its toll on Zara and Leela. "I can't keep living in fear," Zara said, her voice shaking. "What if they come back?" "We can't let them win," Layla replied, wiping away her tears. "We've come too far to give up now." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of their fears. "We need to face this together. We can't let our past control our future. I promise I will protect you, no matter what." The girls looked at him, their trust in him solidifying. In that moment, they knew they had each other, and that bond was strong. The shadows of their past were dark, but they had found light in their friendship. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the floor, Zara took a deep breath. "Let's make a plan. We need to figure out where to go next. We can't stay here forever." Leela nodded, determination replacing the fear in her eyes. "I want to start a new life. We can't let them drag us back." Alex smiled at their resolve. "We'll find a way. Together, we can face anything." With that, the trio began to strategize. They talked about their options, making a plan to leave the area and find a new place to call home. The shadows of their past might still linger, but they would not let them define their future. Together, they were stronger, and together, they would reclaim their freedom. A new mission. The days turned into a blur of preparation as Captain Alex, Zara, and Leela planned their next move. After narrowly escaping the guards, they knew they had to leave their current hiding place. Staying in one spot was too risky. The girls were eager to build a new life, but first, they needed supplies and a safe route to a distant planet that Alex had heard about. One sunny morning, they gathered in their makeshift living area to discuss their plan. "We need to get more food and supplies," Alex said, leaning over a map he had sketched on a piece of scrap paper. "And we have to find a way to get off this planet. I heard about a small transport ship that leaves for Eldoria tomorrow night." "Eldoria?" Zara asked, her eyes lighting up. "I've heard stories about it. It's supposed to be beautiful and full of opportunities." "Exactly," Alex replied. "But we have to be careful. The guards will be looking for us, so we can't attract attention." Leela nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We could split up to gather supplies. It would be faster that way." Alex agreed, but he was worried about the girls' safety. "I don't want you two to go alone. If anything happens, we'll be careful, I promise," Zara interrupted. "We can meet back here in a couple of hours. Just make sure you stay hidden." With a reluctant nod, Alex agreed to the plan. They quickly prepared, gathering bags to carry their supplies. As they stepped out of the shelter, the excitement in the air was palpable. They were about to embark on a mission that could change everything. Alex took a different route toward a nearby market, while Zara and Leela headed in the opposite direction. He moved quickly through the crowded streets, keeping his eyes open for any sign of danger. He had to be quick and stealthy, focusing on gathering food and any other supplies they might need for their journey. At the market, Alex grabbed fresh fruits and vegetables, trying to blend in with the crowd. He kept his head down, avoiding eye contact with anyone who looked too closely. Just as he was about to leave, he noticed a group of aliens discussing something in hushed voices. He stopped to listen, trying to catch snippets of their conversation. "They say a human soldier bought 2 slave girls. They escaped last week," one of them said, laughing. "How foolish. They'll never last long in this galaxy." Alex's heart raced. He had to move quickly before anyone recognized him. He paid for his supplies and slipped out of the market, taking a different route back to their shelter. Meanwhile, Zara and Leela were making their way through the quieter parts of town. They had gathered some food and were looking for any tools that might help them on their journey. As they entered a small shop, they found a few useful items: knives, ropes, and even a small first aid kit. "This is perfect," Leela said, her eyes shining with excitement. "We can use these for our trip." Just as they were about to leave, a familiar voice echoed from outside. "Hey, you two." Panic washed over them as they turned to see a group of alien guards entering the shop. They were looking for them. Without thinking, Zara and Leela rushed to the back of the store, their hearts pounding in their chests. "We need to hide," Zara whispered urgently, ducking behind a shelf filled with dusty jars. The guards searched the store, their voices loud and threatening. "They can't have gone far. Search everywhere." Zara and Leela held their breath, knowing they had to stay silent. Time felt like it stood still as the guards rummaged through the shop, searching for any sign of them. After what felt like an eternity, the guards finally left, grumbling about how they would find the girls soon enough. As the coast cleared, Zara and Leela cautiously emerged from their hiding spot. "That was too close," Leela whispered, her voice trembling. "Let's go," Zora urged, grabbing Leila's hand. They rushed out the back door, hearts racing, and made their way back to the shelter as quickly as they could. When Alex arrived back at the shelter, he was relieved to see the girls safely return. They quickly shared their stories, their eyes wide with the thrill of the adventure. "Did you get everything we need?" Zara asked, her voice eager. Alex nodded, showing them the supplies he had collected. "We're ready for tomorrow night. We just have to stay hidden until then." As they prepared for their journey to Eldoria, a sense of hope filled the air. They were embarking on a new mission, one that could lead to a brighter future. Together, they were stronger, and together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. A new dawn. After the harrowing escape from their pursuers, Alex, Zara, and Leela found a moment of calm. The ship glided smoothly through the void of space, its engines humming steadily. As they approached Eldoria, the sight of the planet filled them with hope. The surface was a swirl of vibrant greens and blues, promising new beginnings and endless possibilities. "We did it," Zara whispered, her eyes sparkling as she gazed at the approaching planet. "We're finally going to be free." "Not yet," Alex reminded her, his expression serious. "We need to land safely first. We have to stay alert until we're sure we're out of danger." As they descended through the atmosphere, the ship trembled slightly, but Alex handled the controls with skill. Leela peered out the window, excitement bubbling inside her. "Look at the trees. They're enormous. I've never seen anything like them." Zora smiled, her fears momentarily forgotten. "It looks beautiful. I can't wait to explore." Finally, they touched down on a small clearing near a beach. The ship landed with a gentle thud, and Alex released a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. They had made it. "Let's check our surroundings," he said, glancing at the girls. "We need to make sure it's safe." As they stepped out of the ship, they were greeted by a warm breeze that carried the scent of salty ocean air. The sun hung low in the sky, painting the landscape in golden hues. Lila took a deep breath, feeling a sense of peace wash over her. "This place is amazing," she said, twirling in the soft grass. "It feels like a dream." Zara laughed, her worries fading as they explored the area. They walked along the shore, the sound of waves crashing against the sand filling their ears. For the first time in what felt like forever, they felt truly free. However, reality set in as Alex looked around, scanning the horizon. "We can't stay here too long. We need to find shelter and food." Zara nodded, her expression turning serious again. "We should look for a place to stay, something safe." They began to walk along the beach, searching for signs of life. After a short while, they came across a small village nestled between the trees. The buildings were made of wood, with vibrant colors that reflected the spirit of the place. As they approached, the villagers noticed the newcomers. Some looked curious, while others seemed wary. Alex stepped forward, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "We come in peace. We are travelers seeking a new home." A tall woman with warm brown skin and a kind smile approached them. "Welcome to Eldoria," she said. "We do not see many outsiders here. What brings you to our shores?" "We've escaped danger and are looking for a place to start over," Alex replied, hoping his sincerity would reassure her. "We want to help and contribute to your community." The woman nodded thoughtfully. "You are brave to come here. Eldoria welcomes those who seek a new life, but you must earn our trust." Zara stepped forward, her eyes earnest. "We promise we will work hard. We just want a chance to begin again." After a moment of silence, the woman smiled. "Very well. You can stay here. We will show you how we live." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, the trio felt a wave of relief wash over them. They had made it to Eldoria, a place that held the promise of new beginnings. Over the next few days, they settled into village life. Alex learned to fish with the locals, while Zara and Leela helped in the gardens, learning about the plants that thrived in the rich soil. They shared their skills and stories, slowly earning the trust of the villagers. As dawn broke each day, the warmth of the sun reminded them that they were free. The shadows of their past faded with each new experience, and the bonds they formed with the villagers began to feel like a true family. Standing on the beach one morning, watching the sun rise over the ocean, Alex turned to Zara and Leela. "This is our new home," he said, a smile spreading across his face. "We're finally free." Together, they embraced the dawn of a new life, ready to face whatever the future held. With hope in their hearts and a sense of belonging, they knew they had found their place in the universe, and the journey ahead was theirs to shape. Trials and tribulations. The night arrived with a hush over the quiet town, the stars twinkling brightly in the dark sky. Captain Alex, Zara, and Leela stood at the entrance of their shelter, ready for their journey to Eldoria. With their bags packed and hearts full of hope, they felt a mix of excitement and fear about what lay ahead. "We need to stick together," Alex reminded them, looking each girl in the eye. "No matter what happens, we don't separate. If anything goes wrong, we meet back at the old shelter." Zara nodded, her expression serious. "We'll make it to the ship. I can feel it." With that, they set out into the night, moving quietly through the streets. The shadows loomed around them, but the thrill of freedom fueled their steps. They navigated through dark alleyways, keeping low and watching for any signs of danger. As they approached the docking area, the sight of the small transport ship filled them with hope. It looked old and worn, but it was their ticket to a new life. However, as they got closer, they noticed a group of rough-looking aliens loitering nearby. "Stay close to me," Alex whispered, his heart racing. The trio moved cautiously, trying to blend in with the shadows. Just as they reached the entrance to the ship, one of the aliens called out, "Hey, where do you think you're going?" The alien barked, stepping in front of them. Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. "We're just here to check the ship," he replied, trying to sound confident. The alien squinted, not buying the story. "I don't think I've seen you around here before. What are you really up to?" Panic surged in Alex's chest. "We're travelers," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We heard this ship is leaving for Eldoria." The alien looked skeptical. "You don't look like travelers to me. You look like trouble." He stepped closer, eyes narrowing. Before Alex could react, Leela spoke up. "We just want to get away from here. We're not trouble." Her voice was shaky, but there was a strength behind it that caught the alien's attention. "Yeah. And why should I believe you?" the alien replied, crossing his arms. At that moment, another alien joined them, a taller figure with a rough face. "What's going on here?" he asked, glaring at Alex and the girls. "We were just—" Alex started, but the tall alien cut him off. "Enough. You're not going anywhere until I say so." With their hearts racing, the trio knew they had to act fast. Alex exchanged a quick glance with Zara and Leela, silently communicating their plan. In that instant, they all knew what they had to do. "Run," Alex shouted, pushing the girls ahead of him as he sprinted toward the ship. The guards shouted in surprise, and Alex could hear their heavy footsteps chasing after them. Zara and Leela didn't look back as they dashed toward the ship, adrenaline pumping through their veins. They could hear the guards yelling behind them, anger and confusion mixing in the air. They reached the ship and quickly climbed on board, Alex right behind them. "Lock the door," he yelled, urgency in his voice. Zara fumbled with the latch, her hands shaking, but finally managed to secure it just as the aliens reached the entrance. Breathless, they stood in the dimly lit cabin, their hearts racing. "Did we make it?" Leela asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "For now," Alex replied, looking out a small window. He could see the aliens pacing outside, their faces angry and frustrated. "But we're not safe yet. We need to get this ship moving." As they moved through the ship, Alex found the control panel. He pressed a few buttons, trying to remember what he had seen in his training. Come on," he muttered under his breath. Zara and Leela stood close, watching anxiously. "What if they find a way in?" Zara asked, fear creeping into her voice. "We'll fight them if we have to," Alex said firmly, though he hoped it wouldn't come to that. "I won't let them take you back." With a loud rumble, the ship's engines started. "Yes," Alex exclaimed, relief flooding through him. "We're moving." The ship lurched forward, leaving the docking area. The girls cheered, their spirits lifting. But just as they thought they were safe, they heard pounding on the door behind them. "They're coming," Leela shouted, panic rising in her voice. "Hold on," Alex yelled, adjusting the controls. The ship shot forward, the stars stretching out in front of them. They could hear the guards shouting, their angry voices fading into the distance. As the ship soared into the dark void of space, the trio knew that their journey had only just begun. Trials and tribulations lay ahead, but they were together, and that gave them the strength to face whatever challenges awaited them. They were finally on their way to freedom, and nothing could take that away from them. The climax. The ship surged through the vastness of space, the stars twinkling like diamonds against the black canvas. Alex, Zara, and Leela felt a rush of freedom wash over them as they left the dangers of their past behind. But deep down, they knew that this was only the beginning of their fight. As they navigated through the dark expanse, Alex kept a close watch on the radar. Suddenly, a red blip appeared, growing larger and larger on the screen. "We have company," he shouted, his heart racing. "They found us." Zara's face turned pale. "Who is it?" "It's the guards," Alex replied, quickly adjusting the ship's course. "They must have tracked us." Leela's hands trembled as she looked between Alex and Zara. "What do we do?" "We need to outmaneuver them," Alex said, gripping the controls tightly. "I'll try to lose them in the asteroid belt up ahead." With determination in his eyes, he piloted the ship toward the asteroid belt, navigating through the dense field of rocky debris. The ship jolted as they flew past massive asteroids, the engines roaring in defiance of the pursuing guards. "Hold on," Alex yelled as he pulled the ship into a sharp turn, narrowly avoiding a giant rock. The ship shuddered but held steady. Zara and Leela clung to their seats, their hearts racing. "They're right behind us," Zara shouted, glancing back to see the enemy ship gaining on them. The guards were relentless, firing shots that zipped past the transport ship, missing them by inches. "We need to take out their engines," Alex exclaimed, a plan forming in his mind. "If I can get a clear shot, I can disable their ship." "Are you crazy?" Leela cried. "We're not soldiers. We'll be putting ourselves in more danger." "We don't have a choice," Alex replied, his voice steady. "If we don't stop them, they'll catch us for sure." Taking a deep breath, he adjusted the controls again, focusing on the enemy ship. As they weaved through the asteroids, he looked for the right moment to strike. The guards were firing more wildly now, their frustration mounting as they struggled to keep up. "There!" Alex shouted as they entered a narrow gap between two massive asteroids. "I'll take the shot." Zara and Leela watched, their breaths held tight in their chests. The tension in the air was electric as Alex lined up the enemy ship in his sights. With steady hands, he pressed the trigger. A burst of energy shot from the transport ship, hitting the enemy ship squarely in the engines. The impact was immediate. The enemy ship lurched violently, smoke billowing from its back end. The guards inside shouted in alarm, their control lost. Alex felt a surge of hope. They had done it. But the victory was short-lived. The damaged ship began to veer toward them, out of control. "Look out!" Zara screamed as the enemy ship hurtled toward them. "Brace for impact." Alex shouted, trying to steer clear, but it was too late. The crashing sound echoed through the cabin as the enemy ship collided with the transport, sending them both spinning through space. For a moment, everything was chaos. Alarms blared, and the ship shook violently. Alex fought to regain control, his heart racing. "Everyone okay?" he called out, his voice trained. "I think so," Leela replied, shaken but unharmed. Zara nodded, her eyes wide with fear. "Good," Alex said, breathing heavily. He managed to stabilize the ship, pulling it away from the wreckage of the enemy vessel. "But we're not out of danger yet. We need to get to Eldoria." With determination in his eyes, he pushed the engines to their limits, aiming the ship toward the stars ahead. They had faced their first major battle and survived, but the journey to freedom was far from over. As they soared away from the chaos, hope flickered in their hearts. Together, they had faced danger and come out stronger. Now, they were ready for whatever lay ahead in the uncharted depths of space. They would reach Eldoria, and nothing could stop them.